There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Pardon Our Picks, where perfection is a work in progress. I'm your host, Sam. Alongside me, as always, is the GM, Tarek. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well for last minute decision to do this. So yeah, let's go. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready to see this season end, honestly. Of course, we have King Football Jesus for one more week at least. How are you this evening?
You know, I'm feeling the warmth, I'm feeling the energy, but kind of like you, I'm ready for this season to be over and the season of rebirth for next season to begin. So blessed to be here for one last time.
All right. And we're all glad to have you. And then, of course, our fearless leader, the QB coach, Jessica. Maybe she might get hired as an OC this year. How you doing tonight?
I would be a DC, not an OC, but I'm doing pretty good.
That's a weird
I'm
joke.
pretty offensive.
That's a pretty weird joke.
Well, you know what? I'll take it as a compliment that I'm not defensive. But yeah, no, I'm doing pretty good. I'm tired, recovering, and everybody's sick. So
Yes. Sickness has gone through most of my family. I avoided it by not being around any of them.
no, I avoided it too somehow, but
That's a pro-family message from our boss.
If you want to get sick, don't go around your family.
Yeah,
That's right. Of course, we are brought to you by Aardvark Concepts Incorporated, more than just a sign shop. Check them out in Westminster for all your sign and decal needs. And in Too Deep of Maryland, they've got a show coming up at Fishhead Cantina next Saturday. Go ahead and check them out. It's going to be the 18th. It's going to be a great show, and you're not going to want to miss it.
We got viewers.
We do have viewers.
Hi, Carol.
There's
Hi,
Dan.
Daniel.
There's 2 additional people.
It's Carol again.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Miss Brady's mom.
So let's take a look at where we stand right now in the standings. Not a great week for most people. Mr. Brady, 2-0. Very nice. Very nice.
You turn it on in the playoffs. It's when it really, really matters. You know, you get to the playoffs, then you do good.
You're still in last place.
But I'm in first place in playoff picks, and that's all that matters.
Jessica
That feels like me from like 3 years ago.
Just won back then.
Yeah. Jessica's lost her ability to get to 200 wins. She was very close.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yes, and I still can get 100 losses, so I got to get this one right.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of getting it right, there were a lot of teams this year who got it right, made it to the playoffs. I want to know, I want to find out from you guys, at all the playoff teams, which one do you think won't be back next year? And we're going to start with the GM. Tarek, how you doing?
Hi, I'm here. Yes. Questions and answers. I got it. All right, so looking at them. So again, we're doing this last second. We're work in progress, right? So the main ones that stick out for me, and other people are going to have more reasons than I do for these things. So the main 2 that stick out for me are Houston, Minnesota. Houston just scraped in. They're losing a lot of people. Wasn't very impressive. Minnesota, same kind of thing. The other one that had a really big loss was Denver, but I think that was a little more. They were at the bottom. Buffalo Bills almost made it to the Super Bowl. I said before the playoffs started, when they were going through, if they're going to make it into the playoffs, they may not make it far, but they're going to have a really good offseason and rebuild and build on Bo Nix and able to have him for next season. But I think out of everyone who made the playoffs, I think Houston, Minnesota are at the top of my list that will not make it next year.
All right, let's throw it to the QB coach. Who do you think?
So I lean toward 2 different teams as well. One of them, I kind of treat a little bit unfairly because they're a younger team. So I feel like they have a little bit lower expectations. But the Houston Texans, I agree with Tarek. Plus, they're losing Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell is injured, and I'm not sure what their team's going to look like next year, but I feel like it's a little bit less pressure for them. But I kind of want to throw the Steelers in it. I think they're going to have I think they barely squeaked in this year. I don't even know how. And I think next year is going to be the year that they rarely have a losing season, but I think it's next year. They are losing some key people as well. They've got some older players that, like this might have been their last season, and I think this is going to be the one that they miss.
But they've got Russell Wilson.
He ain't going to do that well.
All right, King Football Jesus.
Man, there are 3 teams that made the playoffs this year that are all in the same division, and I could give the same argument essentially for all of them, them being the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Detroit Lions. Really, the Lions have lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, their star player coming back from injury, and they play in a meat grinder of a division now, apparently. Minnesota, who knows if they're going to keep Sam Darnold. They're probably going to be starting a rookie quarterback, so who knows how that's going to go in that meat grinder of a division. And the same thing for Green Bay. Like, sure, they were a good team, good enough to make the playoffs, but do they have players of that caliber to consistently put them in a position to be in the playoffs every year, especially with, that offensive coordinator from Detroit now going to Chicago? And who knows what they can do, because Chicago had all the star power to compete last year. It was just Caleb Williams had a bad rookie year. So I realistically could see either of those 3 teams not making the playoffs next year because of the division they play in.
I have a similar thought, but it's on the other side, the AFC, the Chargers and the Broncos, of course. I think the Chargers, they needed another year. They need to get more pieces around that Harbaugh actually wants on that team. They need a little bit of time. The Broncos are going to have a much tougher schedule this year. They're going to find that they're going to be playing harder teams simply because they made the playoffs. They're going to be playing against teams that are more on their level. I think the Broncos are going to struggle to make the playoffs next year. I'm not going to say they won't. I'm going to say it's going to be a harder road for them. And my other thought is the Rams. The Rams had a great season. They really did. But they're looking to trade Cooper Kupp, trying to get rid of him. He didn't really play much this year anyway. I feel like the Rams in their division, they still got to compete with the 49ers. And the Seahawks didn't do too bad last year. Quite frankly, I think they're the other team that I think is probably going to get their butts kicked out of the playoffs this year, because there's always a lot of turnover. There's usually 7 new teams to each playoff. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's take a look at the matchup. We got the Chiefs against the Eagles. We're all super excited about this one. Yay.
Yay.
Let's get our picks in. We're going to start with King Football Jesus.
Well, to say I'm disappointed is a understatement, but we're supposed to be impartial. We're supposed to tell the facts here, and I'm going with the Eagles on this one. Now, if this game is played straight up a football game where talent meets talent on the professional football field, and there is a hour and a half intermission of Kendrick Lamar playing his song he just won a Grammy for, I think the Eagles have the pieces to beat Kansas City. However, we all have seen the favorable calls that go Kansas City's way. So here is new gimmick for next year. Psychic Jesus is going to tell you how this game is going to go down. First Eagles drive, Saquon Barkley is going to rip off an 80-plus yard run. That's going to be called back for a holding. There, the Eagles are going to punt, and Travis Kelce is going to have a career game where he is going to get like 3 touchdowns, 130 yards in front of Taylor Swift, and he is going to propose at the end of the game, thus completing the Devils' trifecta of the Chiefs' Super Bowl victories. But I still think, on a talent level, the Eagles are going to win this game. But I will be proven wrong because of the referee's favoritism. I rest my case.
I will not actually be watching this one. I am not trying to watch the repeat of this, Super Bowl from 2 years ago and the Kansas City Chiefs again, especially knowing how they got there. Fun fact, Brady, I think I told you earlier that the Super Bowl tickets are plummeting in price. Like you can get them on the secondary market for like $4,000, which is crazy low for Super Bowl. But I think people are just tired. So I am going to go with the Eagles as well. I think that they have the stronger team. The problem that I have with the Eagles, though, is that on paper, they can be a great team and they can show up consistently looking great for weeks. And then I feel like Hurts is kind of a bigger problem than people want to admit to. He makes mistakes and I don't think he's the most accurate passer. So as long as Saquon does his thing, and the Eagles are pretty good at sticking to their run game when they know that that's their advantage, I think the Eagles are going to take this one, but it's going to be a close game and it's not going to be a fair game.
All right. So I agree. I don't want to repeat. We didn't like it. No one likes it. I had someone at work tell me, oh, like you're just mad because your team didn't win. I'm like, no, I'm mad because I don't want to see the same team win over and over again. And we have the exact same matchup as both Brady and Jess have mentioned. So it just hence the thumbnail that I picked for this video where it's just like Kansas City, Philadelphia, rest of the country meteor strike. Like, let's just end it. Be done with it. The fourth option, as kind of alluded to, is the referees. I loved seeing all the memes of like Tom Brady can't commentate the Super Bowl because he called out the referees and different things like that. So I just started laughing at this all the way through. I'm picking the Eagles just because I can't bring myself to actually click the little circle next to Kansas City again. As a half Broncos fan and as someone who just doesn't want to see an actual three-peat, I don't want it. I can't do it. So I'm picking the Eagles. I think they got a pretty good shot. I was looking through the records for the playoffs this year. They beat the Commanders 55 to 23, so it was ridiculous. So I think they got a shot. All depends on who shows up and if we actually can make the rest fair and not make Patrick Mahomes look like a soccer forward.
Can we take a moment to appreciate Dan's hatred for Kenny Pickett? I mean, it is real. There's passion there.
There is
it's multiple comments on here about his game.
I don't understand it, but I guess maybe he just has a thing that he doesn't like dudes with real tiny hands. But
I think he's got a terrible attitude, but
I wonder if he has a thing about dudes with little legs.
He also is always getting pass interference. I mean, he's one of the worst. But anyway.
It burns with the passion of many suns.
Nice. I look at this game and I don't want either of these teams to win. Boom. Quite frankly, I have a hard time picking the Eagles or the Chiefs in this one simply because I went boom. Anyway, I think that the Eagles do have the key to winning this game. Saquon Barkley running the ball, controlling the clock, taking it to the house with the boom. Quite frankly, I think that, with 2 weeks, Andy Reid's hard to beat. He really is. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at game planning for that. But I feel like the Eagles have just enough to take it to the house to win this game. It's going to be a mid-scoring game. I think they're going to score about 24 points, and the Chiefs are going to score 21. And quite frankly, I think I speak for all of us when I say we all hope for this.
Yeah, give me the Costco guys and 5 big booms on this game. But
And boom. All right. Short and sweet. Only one game. So we're not going to go too long. We're right at 15 minutes. So thank you guys so much for a good season. Thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Makes it fun. I think we're going to go with this format going into next season, tweak it a little bit, see if we can figure some stuff out. We appreciate it. And with that, we will see you guys next season. Click like, click subscribe so you see us in September or whatever.
I like that, Dan. I like that.
One can only hope.
Yeah. That's why he's not doing the kick again this year.
Yeah.
All right. And as always, we won't see you guys next week. We'll see you guys next season. I'm Tarek.
I'm Jessica.
I'm, for the last time, King Football Jesus.
And I'm Sam. And you find some way to enjoy this football weekend.
Bye, guys.
And no